It's Sunday, the 19th of February 2017. This is a chart update for Dacian Gold. Dacian's a company I've only bought into in the last couple of weeks. It's been a market darling in 2016, rising from about 50 cents all the way up to $4 at a peak, and then had a nasty sort of fall in November and December. They attempted to do a big equity raising for their project, and at the same time, in the midst of a falling gold market, just that was right when Trump was coming in, and they really got hammered, and had to restructure that equity raising, and just did a small placement. And I think now we're looking at a higher proportion of debt financing for their prospect in WA. So they've completed a pre-feasibility study and a definitive feasibility study as well. And there, I think there's one thing I like about this stock, is the management. They've got a really good management team who have had success in the past. And the other thing is that I think this is going to get taken over, and that's probably one of the reasons why I've entered this week. I think it hasn't risen with a lot of the rest of the gold stocks, the Australian-based gold stocks in the last few weeks, and I took a few profits on some of the winners I've had and moved that into to Dacian because I think it's a relatively low risk play. You can see here it's really been sort of declining. A lot of the Australian-based gold stocks are up sort of 10% this week, and Dacian was down sort of 8 to 10%, and I think that's going to turn around probably. And even if they don't get taken over, I think it's a fairly low risk play given the quality of their development prospects. They're definitely going to get financing, probably at competitive rates. But yeah, there's a lot of cashed up mid-tier companies around this operation. I know Goldfields, a South African company, has been touted as sort of the natural acquirer of Dacian because they've got operations very close by that are short resources. But then even if Goldfields aren't the buyer, Goldfields just recently bought a stake in Gold Road's Gruyere deposit as well. So maybe they're not going to do two things at once and buy a share of this, but there are a lot of other companies with good cash balances and potentially sort of fairly weak production growth going forward. Companies like Saracen, Northern Star, Regis, all of these companies have got $100 million in the bank sort of thing, and access to debt financing as well, and elevated equity prices if they were to do offer script instead of cash. So I think this is a pretty good chance of getting taken over. But as I said, they're even if they don't get taken over, they're a decent prospect in going into production themselves, and I think they can handle that without any problems. And I think it's a very good stock to move some money into if you've had some winners recently.